Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Love Beneath podcast, your daily show, Monday through Friday, all things spiritual tips, tricks, wisdom, chit chat, and channeled messages. I am your host, Minazia Sheikh Al Islami, and today we are talking all about what is my number one tip to gain clarity in any situation. Before I get into it, if you are watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe. If you are listening to the show on a podcast platform, please follow the show and leave me a review. I would so appreciate it. And thank you as always to everyone who's been commenting, sharing the show. I've mentioned this before, but I really would love YouTuber to be higher up on my list of titles. If you are my client and you get readings with me and you're in my coaching program, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But I love making these videos. I love showing up here every day, and it would be really cool to have this get monetized. So thank you so much, everyone who's supporting me. I really appreciate you, and I'm sending you so much love. Okay, so let's get into the video. My number one tip to gaining clarity in any situation, we could say my number one tip to deepening your intuition and being able to hear your intuition in any situation. Drum roll, please. I don't know how to do sounds on videos, so just, here we go. Clean up the basement. A big reason why people don't feel connected to source, which if you don't feel connected to source, if you are confused and you find yourself in confusion a lot with what's happening in your life, it's because you don't have a strong connection to source, and you don't have a strong connection to your spiritual self, your intuitive self, then it's gonna feel like you're constantly getting, life is dragging you through, you're getting banged against the walls, thrown around like a rag doll, and you never know what's gonna be happening next. And when you're in that type of feeling where you don't trust life, you don't know what's about to happen, you don't trust what's about to happen, and you're just, suffering basically, then what happens is you start to distrust the divine path, and you start to distrust the divine itself, God, source, whatever you want to say. When you distrust it, you will turn away from it. So you will close the door that separates you from source. So the very issue is you don't feel connected. And unfortunately, when you don't feel connected, you do more subconsciously to sever that connection even more. Now, you can never actually sever your connection to source, but it will feel that way. And so you don't realize that subconsciously you're closing the door on source. And so you start building almost this resentment for life. Like, why aren't you helping me out? Why aren't these things happening? Or like, what's the deal? And all of this very subconscious, but very real. And so from your conscious mind, what you're thinking is, why is life always like messing with me and I don't ever know what's going on, and there's resentments building, and you don't realize that it's because you yourself have actually closed the door. So how to open the door, once again, cleaning up the basement. This is just a way I've been explaining it like this since 2019, and it's one of the major ways that I've broke through to people. So I'm going to keep using it. Let me know in the comments if it helped you or if it was still a little confusing. But the part of us that connects to source, well, it's everywhere. But I'll tell you, the sensation I feel in my body, when I go to my deep knowingness, is at the base of my spine, at the perineum. And honestly, even deeper than that. I think people call it the Earth Star chakra. I call it the Enam chakra. The chakra that it's truly where you and source connect, where you and earth connect, where you and the divine are in union. Now, once again, you can never actually close the door on this relationship, but you can turn your back on it more and more and more. The good news is you can always face it again. So here's where the basement analogy comes in. Imagine that your basement is completely cluttered from floor to ceiling with boxes and stuff, and there's just a bunch of crap down there, okay? The basement is where we throw all the stuff that we don't know where to put it. It's the storage unit, but also, unless you're a very tidy person, it just be crazy down there. And the more stuff you accumulate, just throw it, and then you forget you have it and all that. So imagine that those boxes get so high that they block the window to the outside. So now you have a basement with no natural light and you have to use artificial light. That's very similar to a human who is disconnected from source. You need to use artificial means to feel connected because you have blocked your window to source. So when you have a bunch of pain and you want to repress it, you just shove it down, shove it down, shove it down, shove it down. So especially if you're someone who it's hard for you to speak your truth, it's hard for you to advocate for yourself, it's hard for you to receive, it's hard for you to ask for help, then your basement could be extremely cluttered, which is in your root space, in your sacral space. So pretty much everything around your, like under your bottom ribs and down will be cluttered. And heart can get cluttered. That's a separate thing. But a lot of clutter in the body. When you have a clogged basement, then you're not feeling connected because that's blocked, the window's blocked, then you are escaping through social media. You're trying to get a hit, right? Through the dopamine hit through social media or through connection with other people. Things that we talk about on this show all the time. Ways that you try to get energy, and through substances, through caffeine, like you need a high food, a million things. You can use anything to get a hit. So you use artificial light to feel the light because your light is blocked. It's very hard to clean out the basement, but that's why a meditation practice is so important daily if possible. My recommendation is to do 20 minutes of meditation a day. Can you sit for 20 minutes? Can you sit for 20 minutes and truly focus on your meditation? You can do it silent, you can do it with music, and I have some music, I'll link one here that's really popular to help you. It is a little easier to do it with music at first, but also doing it in silence and having your mind completely focused for 20 minutes, that's badass. So what's going to happen when you consistently come back to a spiritual practice is everything that's in your basement is going to start to come to the light. And so you got to be ready for that, obviously. And obviously, if you've gone through some shit, like, please see a licensed mental health professional. Please get help to work with that. That's what I did and do for many, many years. Don't think I could have got through it without a lot of mental health professionals. But just know that anything that you are running from in your life, it's in your basement, clogging your connection to source. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Once again, anytime that you hold your tongue, anytime that you're afraid to speak, you're afraid to be seen, you're afraid to ask for help, you're afraid to receive, anything around any of that is directly clogging source. It's directly the boxes in your basement. So what I did is slowly, I made a list of everything that would come up in meditation. Like, oh, I didn't speak truth to that person. I really need to speak truth to this person. I really need to stop doing this habit. I just would write it down as it came up. Always have a notebook with you. I would just write it down as it came up. And then that was my action list. And slowly over that, I started doing that in 2019. It's now 2025. And I'm still doing it. So over the course of the last 6 years, I just keep adding to it and crossing things off, adding to it, crossing things off. And it does start to get way easier. The problems sometimes get more complex because the deeper you go down into your basement and open up all those boxes and look through everything, more repressed things are in there, especially like really repressed childhood stuff. All of that can get really gnarly. And especially, I'm 37 years old, so some of that has been down there for 3 decades. So obviously that energy is like imagine an egg sandwich in like a hot basement for 30 years. Like it's gonna smell pretty bad. It's gonna be pretty gnarly. Energy works exactly the same way. It becomes even bigger than it originally was because it's just been sitting there. So it's a long process. It's not a race. Don't try to run through it, but doing the hard things that you've been avoiding, whatever it is, if it's some action, if it's some speech, if it's some thought, whatever it is, I trust all of you to know what it is in your individual lives. The more you take control of those things, the more you're going to find that light. So we talk about how we're in ascension. The ascent is the descent. You don't go up to find source. You go down to the base of you. where you and Source connect, I'm telling you, sit 20 minutes a day, meditation, sit, feel, uncover, move through it at your own pace. Don't push yourself. Do it at your own pace. It's gnarly. It's going to take time. Again, don't sprint through it. It's not a race. Just, walk, crawl if you have to, whatever you have to do. And I also want to say, it's not this purity culture thing where you have to be totally healed in order to restore your connection with Source and have clarity in every moment. As long as you take some of those boxes down and that window is shining some light, there you go. You don't have to have the whole thing cleared out. All you have to do is just get a little bit of light poking through, and then you work deeper. And then you're getting strength because now that Source light is coming back to you. So then you have more strength to take more boxes down. And then you have more strength to take more boxes down. And it just kind of feeds off each other and makes it way easier to make it through because you're getting more energy from yourself now and less artificial energy, artificial light from the external. So if you're someone who you're like, man, I wish that I had a really strong intuition and I kind of, even when something terrible is going on, I can see the light. I can see, where it's going. I always say spirituality and spiritual tips and tricks and tools, it's not a cure-all. It's not like, oh, once you have this, you'll never have any problems and everything's going to be perfect. Just think of it like life is a series of math tests. And if you do not have a spiritual practice, you're showing up to the math test without your calculator. Can you take the math test? Yeah. Can you pass it? Yeah. But it's just going to suck. So what I'm teaching you in doing this is teaching you to bring your calculator to the math test and make your life way easier. So it is difficult to sit with what's in the basement, but once you start to feel Source poking through, it gets way easier. And so just to tell you, again, I started in 2019 consciously doing that. Now in 2025, I am not stumped by any situation. I have to go through it and it sucks and I have to uncover repressed emotions and go through that like everybody else. But when I'm going through something, when something happens, I don't always know why, but I always have this inner knowing of, no, that's going to be okay. No, that's totally going to work out. Or like, no, that's not going to work out, but something over here is going to work out. Okay, so let me sit and wait because something over here. So again, it's not like I downloaded the cheat sheet from Source and now I'm just reading every day what's going to happen for me and whatever. It's not like that, but there's a deep knowingness that I am protected and safe and I'm being guided and that I'm not going off course. And there's a deep knowingness that everything's going to work out great, which is a far cry from what I used to be. I used to literally be addicted to suffering, like truly addicted to suffering in a way that was really not okay and really detrimental to everything in my life. So I went from assuming everything is going to work out like the worst ever and that I'm going to fall down into a pit and perish, like not to be dramatic, but it felt like that, to now even the crappiest thing that can possibly happen, which some things recently have been pretty crappy, I can sit and be like, wow, that really sucks. And I know exactly what to do. Like, I know exactly what to do. I have tracked all my karmic cycles. I can pinpoint on a map, like what's happening with this landscape. So even with something happening right now that is horrific, I hate it. It's the worst. It sucks. And I know exactly what to do. And I know exactly where this is taking me. So again, it's not like a cure-all thing, but it definitely helps to have a deep, powerful knowing that you are safe and protected and secure for when you're going through really hard things. Because if you don't have that, which I didn't used to, and many of you watching might resonate with that, it's just a lot harder. And why do that to yourself? Why not bring the calculator to the math test? Okay, this was a brief overview of why that confusion happens and how to regain the clarity. If you want me to get in deeper to specifics on how I did things and kind of my step-by-step, let me know because I can definitely make a follow-up video about that. Let me know how you resonate with it in the comments. Let me know how y'all are feeling. And if you want to work with me, that'll be in the description box, as well as my courses and other things that might help you along your journey, and more being created all the time. Until next time, I love you all so, so, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Again, please interact with the video or the show. I so appreciate you, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.